Hello, everyone. This week, with us, we have Ashi Dissanayake, a co founder and CEO of a YC backed startup called Spaceium. And they're building a network of refueling and repair stations up in space. Hi, Ashi.
Hi, nice to meet you, and thanks for having me, Shamil.
It's a pleasure to have you. Can you tell me when did your obsession with space begin?
A lot of people ask me this question, and the honest answer is I don't remember because as long as I remember, I was obsessed with space. So I don't really know what was the turning point for me, or like it wasn't a book or it wasn't like a TV show that made me want to go to space. It just I have honestly have no idea. Like I remember when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, I was just staring at the sky and just wondering what's out there and then about the universe. But obviously I didn't know a lot at the time. And everything I did since then was to one day be an astronaut. But now we are building refueling stations in space.
It's crazy. And when did it hit you that you're gonna start a company around this field? Because I know a lot of people who want to become astronauts, join the NASA programs, everything, preparation, and you decide to take, I would say, a harder route, a more difficult one, like actually building a company and building something that's never been done before.
So the idea actually came when me and my co-founder we were both working on rockets, high power rockets, and we were sending scientific payloads at different altitudes. So at the time we knew there was a huge problem in the industry, and even before we started Spaceium, we reached out to customers, other space companies, to actually understand what their biggest pain point is, and I always knew I wanted to do something different, something crazy, and like I wanted to go be an astronaut and go to ISS and do my own research. Like I knew I never wanted to do something. I wanted to solve a problem that was never done before. That was always my thing, and I easily get bored if it's not out of this world, and if I love when something's really challenging and something's like something keeps me up at night. I love that feeling because all I want to do is just go solve that problem. And my co-founder is the same. Like that's why we work so well together. And when we were working together before Spaceium, while building rockets and high power rockets and rocket engines, we had talked about build maybe potentially building a company together, but it was never the time. We were still university students, and one day we were like, you know what, there's this huge problem. Why are we not doing something about this? Because, and they're like, let's go talk to people. At that time, we didn't even have a company. It was not incorporated. We had no idea how to incorporate a company. So, but we just reached out to space companies. Like some of those founders and CTOs are still really good friends with us up to this day because they were the very first people talk to us when we had like it was just an idea, and we reached out
And
to them cold
what were
emails.
the conversations like?
We're like, hey, so we are thinking of building a space company. We want to build refueling stations. What do you guys think? Would you guys get fuel from us if we have fuel up there in space? Some answer like, no, we won't have, like, we don't want to get fuel. But some were like, yes, we would love to have fuel in space. But right now, we develop our spacecraft to not have fuel in space because there's really no station up there. And even some of the founders or some of the companies who told us, okay, we never want fuel in space, have reached out to me and reached out to us in the last year asking for what our roadmap looks like. So the market has really changed. And some of the other founders who were always supportive, and some of, I can't really mention names, but we have one of our really good friends who was also had worked at SpaceX, and they were building a space. They're building a space company, and their spacecraft will not be refuelable, but he always gave us advice on what to do. Like And it was a crazy journey. And yeah, here we are.
And what kind of spacecrafts are going to be your main customers?
Our main customers are OTVs, orbital transfer vehicles. So those are the spacecraft that move satellites around, move other spacecraft around. So they have propulsion system on board, and we have other type of spacecraft customers as well. So our main customers are OTV companies, orbital transfer vehicles. Those are the customers that move satellites in space, move other spacecraft in space, and they have propulsion system on board. So the main advantage for them is actually not saving launch costs. For them is actually having fuel source in space, so they don't have to wait another year to send a new spacecraft up there. And so, like, someone might ask, isn't it expensive to get fuel up there? Yes, it is expensive, but it saves them time, and also once they refuel, they can keep using the same spacecraft over and over again. So it's actually very cost effective for our customers,
And
and they can carry more payload. So go ahead.
that also gets me thinking because you're kind of building an infrastructural thing. It just makes me think about electric vehicles and the fact that without having the charging stations across the
Exactly.
country, we couldn't really get any adoption because the distances were quite large and you would need some places in between to be able to refuel, to recharge. And maybe having gas pumps out there in space with rocket fuel will actually help other directions evolve, which we're not even thinking about at the moment.
It's going to be awesome because now we have a really strong customer pipeline, and a lot of spacecraft are really counting on having a fuel depot, fuel station up there. And again, we don't move around in space because we can carry up to 10 to 30 metric ton of fuel, and it doesn't really make sense for us to move in space. So just think of us like a real service station in space. In the future, we are going to add repair, and but in our very first development would be refueling. So the spacecraft will come to us, we will dock into their station, and then they can get fuel and go about their way. And yeah, it sounds easy, but not. But it's awesome.
And with your expectations, when all of this was just a concept in your head, and now you're in the field building, signing the deals, planning for future, did it turn out to be easier or more complex than you thought?
That's a really hard question. Easier in the sense what? In what sense? Easier or harder?
And so how much stress it's going to be, how easy it is going to be to pull a team together, get financing, and actually have a solid plan, an executionable plan that you feel comfortable about to actually start launching things.
So yeah, it's different type of stress at each level. Like it was a different type of stress when we just got started, and fundraising was a different stress, and then customers. So it's every stage of the company is different, because how we work at Spaceium is we move really fast, and we have some really big news coming up very soon. I will let you know, but I unfortunately I can't talk about it. But really big news. So then, if anyone's listening now, they'll know what I'm talking about. Then we like to move very fast, like we execute super fast, and we like to iterate as much as possible, and we get feedback from our customers and iterate and test.
And you can imagine in such a high speed environment, you can't really allow yourself to just be, I don't know, depressed, sad, tired, lazy, which all of us get at times. But it's not an option, right?
It's not an option. No, it's not an option. It's also because every minute counts. And yeah, but I think your health is very important, your health, mental health. So we have strategies in place with me, my co-founder, with the rest of our team. We obviously take breaks during the day. We just go for a walk or something, and we reset all over again. And
Do you have any
because
tips or tricks?
Do something that you're obsessed about, because I think that's the main thing for me, because I'm really obsessed with space. So it's my co-founder, and so it's our whole team. So we don't really feel like we are working. Like we wake up in the morning wanting to go and work, and that's all we can think about. So that's why we don't really feel tired, because it's like your hobby, right? When you're really obsessed with something, you don't feel tired, I think, at least for me and my co-founder and our team. So that's the trick. Like if you love something, there's no stopping.
A lot of people, whenever they try to give advice to people who are just getting started or are feeling lost, it's always find your passion, which seems to be a simple yet extremely difficult for a lot of people to. It sounds simple in theory, just like do what you love, do what you're passionate about. And I guess for you, it was quite easy to know what you're passionate about
Yeah,
because it was just like straight from the childhood, right?
yeah. So I guess I was just lucky. I just knew this is where I wanted to be. I knew I love space, and when I met my co-founder, I think he read a book about space when he was like 6 years old, and all he wanted to do was go to space, be an astronaut. So it just like we were just lucky. We knew this is where we wanted to be. But I know some people might not, some founders might not know where their passion is, right? But you'll never know where your passion is if you don't try. And you should not be scared to fail, because the more you fail, the more you learn. Because at Spaceium, we do tests, and sometimes we don't get the answer we are looking for, but we learn so much just by doing a test, so we can iterate. So just don't be scared to fail, and if you fail, just try again, and
Why do you
you
think so many people are so afraid to fail?
I I think it's a society, right? Like people are just scared to fail because what might the other person might think, or what your family might think. It's also so important to have a very strong support system, um, to have people back you.
Because it's part of the reason why I started this podcast in the first place, to make it okay to talk about failures, because they kind of lay the foundation
Yeah,
of
failing is
your
okay.
journey.
If you don't fail, like you'll never learn anything.
What was your childhood like?
My childhood, I was just a normal kid who was obsessed with space, and I used to tell people, "Hey, I want to be an astronaut." And they're like, "Oh my God, you are crazy!" Like,
Probably still like that.
yeah, still, like, but at the time, like, it was like, "Oh, you're so crazy!" But just a normal kid, just like math, like physics, and love reading space books. So it was just so normal, but my parents were always very supportive. And oh, another thing about my childhood and still now, I don't necessarily give up like ever. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know when to stop. I don't know when I should be like, okay, I give up now. But it's not like that. I'm like, until I achieve, if I have a goal in mind, until I achieve it, I just keep going. So that was like my childhood as well. Like if I wanted to, I don't know, do something, I won't stop until I do it, and I still carry that until this day. So yeah.
It's amazing because I try to say this to myself whenever I fuck up somewhere. I'm just like, it's okay, get back on it, try again. But a part of me is like, oh well, you're a loser for life now. Yep, nothing's gonna work ever. And it's those parts of your mind, all of those voices that you have to ignore and just focus on some of the positives. Does it happen automatically in your head whenever something happens?
I mean, I'm human too, so I also have ups and downs. So like if things get really bad, then momentarily I'm like, but I never feel like, oh my God, like Spaceium's gonna fail. Oh my God. But I always try to look for solution. Oh, what can we do? Okay, something bad happened. So what's the next best thing to do to get out of this trouble or get out of this problem? So we have like at Spaceium, if something goes wrong, me and my co-founder, we always talk. We sit together. We talk. Okay, this is terrible. Okay, this test didn't go well. Okay, okay, our customer didn't like our test results, let's say, like for an example. It has not happened about the customer part, but if it does happen, then we'll probably sit together and be like, okay, what's the issue? How can we solve this? How can we impress them? And how can we give them what they need? So, because instead of dwelling on your failures, it's like if you take a moment to think where you went wrong and how you can fix it, then you can move forward.
Did you fail a lot in your past
Uh,
to kind of build that resilience, maybe?
Not really. No, no.
Okay. Because not a lot of people have to, like, after about failing like 10, 15 times, you're like, well, it's just part of life. You just have to get used to it. And
Yeah. Before Spaceium, like, I haven't failed at anything, to be honest. But when we started Spaceium, until we got to YC, that was really bad. That was really hard. A lot of people told us, this is not going to work. Just go home. You guys don't, like, no one's gonna, there won't be a refueling market. And oh, there was so many investors that turned us down. And I guess that really made us so resilient as well, because we knew, because there were times that we would talk to our customers and they're like, okay, yeah, we would need 30 metric tons of fuel in 5 years from now. And then someone might tell us, oh, yeah, there's not going to be a refilling market. So, but then but if you're building something what your customers want, there's going to be a market. There's a real need out there. So that really made us strong during when we started Spaceium. It was quite hard. It was one
and
of
what
the hardest times of our lives.
and how did you and your co-founder support each other? Like, what were your conversations like whenever like you get turned out 10 times in a
A
week
100 times, 1,000 times.
or 100 times? How do you help each other make sure that they just don't see the right picture?
Because then we would always focus on what our customers said, because it's just simple as that, right? If who's going to buy our product at the end of the day, it's our customers who's going to buy our product. And customers, they always gave the answer what we are looking for, like, yes, we want fuel. And it was
And it's
hard,
something that
obviously it was hard, but we had, like, it wasn't like an easy conversation where we go to a call and the customers are like, yes, we want fuel. It was not like that. We had to prove to them, we can do this. This is our technology. We are legit. This is what we're actually building. Like, it was a very long, hard conversations, but at the end of the day, we knew we were building something the whole industry needed.
can you talk a bit about your experience with YC?
Oh,
How'd you
why?
make the decision to apply?
We applied to IC 4 times, so we got in our fourth time. So every year they used to have two batches. So when we started that year, we applied twice, and the next we got an interview the third time, and then we actually used the feedback they gave us during the third interview, and then we worked on those, and then we applied again for the fourth time, and then we got in.
And how was
YC
that
has been
experience for you?
awesome. It's amazing. It was life changing. It was a very pivotal moment in for Spaceium as well as our careers and our lives, because we got to meet so many amazing people. Our group partners were amazing, and investors that we met after YC, during YC, have been nothing but amazing. They support us. Like, I always just text them like, oh, how can I do this? Can you help me? Can you give me advice? What should I do? We have such a great network now after YC, and YC was life changing.
What are some of the warmest and coolest memories that you have from your YC days?
There's many, but one is, I don't know if Brandon told you this, during the fundraising couple of weeks, we were really stressed. It was very stressful because we would have investor calls from like 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like back to back every half an hour. So some days, like if we have like half an hour break, we would meet up And there was this ice cream shop we would go to. We would go to this ice cream shop, get an ice cream, and there was this very rusty post near the beach, and we would walk to the beach and then touch the post for good luck, and we would walk back, and then you repeat all over again your day, and then you go back to your calls. That was one, and we were we built one of our hardware within 2 months. We built our robotic arm within 2 months during YC while talking to customers while fundraising. It was crazy. It was so fast. We probably slept for like 3 4 hours a night, and me and my co-founder we were like just crazy building. He was more focused on actually building the robotic arm and our fuel transfer technology because we wanted to have something built before the fundraise begins. So
For the demo day, right?
for the demo day. But or like when we start talking to investors, we want to show them the technology, and we were building, and that was crazy. And just the whole experience about with hanging out with other founders who's trying to do crazy things, and your group partners and everybody else at YC, they have built a company and they have exited, and also they have gone through the same pain points that we are going through now, and it has happened to somebody. Like if we have a problem, and the same thing has happened to somebody at YC, like it could be one of your group partners, a different partner, or another founder. So it was such a crazy environment to be in. It was so what I don't even know the word. It was amazing just to surround yourself with like-minded people and partners. So the whole experience was just crazy.
Well, first of all, we're going to make that post, the Rusty post, popular and famous. I think for anyone in YC, we'll pinpoint the location. I'll ask you about the location later. We can point the exact location. We'll even add a small mark somewhere. So anybody who's going through the final presentations or getting ready for the fundraising can go find it, and the ice cream, of course. Would you say that that environment was very stressful, or is the energy helping translate that stress into something, into like an excitement almost?
It was the good type of stress. Like you wanna just keep going. You wanna change the world. You wanna build your company as fast as possible. You just wanna move quickly as possible. So that was it was stressful in a way that because you wanted to meet your milestones, you want to do everything that you have. You want to reach your KPIs. You have very short period of time to reach all those milestones. So in that way it was stressful, but it was the good type of stress because your company is growing. You are building something. You are getting sales. You are selling to customers. You are understanding your customers, and you are fundraising. You are getting closer to me talking to investors. So it was 3 months, but it just flew.
And what has changed? How has it changed you?
As a founder,
Yeah.
I think up to this day, we put KPIs in front of us on our whiteboard, and we have bi-weekly KPIs that we are hitting, and then now we actually have started doing weekly KPIs. So we have weekly KPIs that we are hitting every week. We have a separate monthly KPIs, and we break them down to like what we want to get them during the next 2 weeks, what KPIs we want to reach within the next week. So that's something we learned during YC, because YC we had KPIs to reach by the end of our 3 month program, and every by week we would meet with our group partners and we talk to them. We would tell them, okay, we met them, okay, or most of the time we didn't meet most of our KPIs, and we would ask for help, we would get advice, and we would go and try to fix the problem. So that's something we kept going, and we still do it. And
What kind of
it's
KPIs did you have in voice?
some are technical KPIs. Yes, like those are basically like technical KPIs, business development, customers, like yeah, a lot of technical nitty gritty details, and in terms of customers and maybe your next fundraise, it could be anything.
What role does your co-founder play in your story of, you know, taking on the challenge of space exploration and refueling?
It was our idea. It was we both of us came up with the idea, and he has been an amazing co-founder. I always think if he wasn't my co-founder, I probably wouldn't be doing this because he was such an amazing co-founder, like supportive. He has a right mindset. Like we never really fight about like, oh, this is your goal, this is my goal. Like our goals always align because our goal is always to make Spaceium successful. There's nothing else, right? And we have the same goals in mind. We have the same technical goals in mind. And if we don't align on something, we always just talk about it, and then we come to a conclusion. And it has never been a disagreement where we like fight and go crazy. And also it helps because he like we worked together before, before Spaceium, so I knew how he works, he knew how I worked. And even before Spaceium we would pull all-nighters building rocket engines, so I knew he was obsessed with space, he knew I was obsessed with space. So it was such a good co-founder relation that we have.
Do you think it helps? How big do you think of a factor is having a co-founder when building something as complex?
I think it's very, very important because there were times that he was my biggest supporter, and there has been times I was his biggest supporter. Um, like I don't know what I would do without my co-founder, because yeah, we always have each other's back, and it's crazy. And I know some founders just don't have a co-founder. Uh, I'm not saying not having a co-founder is not gonna work. Like if you are a solo founder, it can 100% work. You can 100% be amazing. But for me, in my experience, my like for me, I think it's really important to have a co-founder because you things get really hard, and if there's one person that who understands what I'm going through, it's my co-founder.
Because as a founder myself, I'm. It's not really a product startup, so it's probably a little different. But whenever I hear that entrepreneurship and founder journey is one of the loneliest journeys, I'm like, yeah, I feel that. But at the same time, if you have a co-founder, it's so much more fun, and maybe like you don't feel as lonely. I think when you can spread the responsibilities, the stress, the risks.
Yeah, you're lonely together then, you know.
Yeah, and I think that it does affect the likelihood and chances of success, especially when I think it never gets easy, and when you have somebody to just uh, who you can cry on the shoulder with, it kind of helps you persevere and move
Yeah,
forward. What do you think are the qualities that actually make somebody a good founder?
good founder or good co-founder.
I think both. I think both are important.
You have to be very strong. You have to have one goal in mind, and you have to like what you're doing, and you have to be very strong, not easily give up, because then everything fails if you just give up. And there's so many qualities I can think of for a founder or a co-founder, but it depends on the business you are doing. But as an overall person, I think you have to be very strong and resilient to because your founder journey is gonna throw a lot of stuff at you, and you have to be able to um, just still navigate your journey, um, find your path, and still keep going, and just not get depressed and um, just give up. You know.
With some of your qualities, do you think that you're the kind of person who wants to be seen as nice by people around her? Or are you like, Hey, this needs to be done tomorrow. We have the KPIs in the week.
I'm both.
How do you match those two?
I I I think I think I'm nice. I hope I'm nice. That you had to ask my team or my co-founder, but yeah. But when it comes to deadlines, I want to make sure all the deadlines are met and all the KPIs are met. But if there's any issues, why it was not met, because we have to solve something, then obviously we are a small team, and we talk every day, and our whole team is here right now building stuff.
Yeah.
So we are having fun, and it's never like it's a very fun environment, and I make sure everybody at everybody in our team have fun, because I want everybody to enjoy what they're working on as much as I love what I'm doing, because I want my team to succeed. I want Because I love my team, and I I would do anything for my team, because they're the ones that's making Spaceium. So yeah, I guess I'm nice, and we just have to meet the deadlines.
How easy was it for you to find and hire the right people for the company? Is it like a huge process, or is it like I like you, let's go?
Oh no, we were very picky, and the first team member we hired, he's amazing. He's just like us. He's also really obsessed with space. He loves what he's doing, and right now he's machining hardware for one of our some of the some of the hardware we are building, and it was a very long process, because we want to make sure they match our culture at Spaceium. They have the same work life balance in terms of how much time they can put into work, and how
Work
obsessed
balance.
work balance. Yeah. When after I said work life balance, I realized maybe I should have said work balance. Um, so we want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and everybody, and we found him. It took us like 8 months or so, and we went through so many resumes. He was the best, and yeah.
How do you check for obsession? Because I've done quite a lot of interviews myself, and it's just so hard. Because somebody might say like, "Oh, I really like this, and I started doing this, since I was a kid." But then there are people when there is something needs to be done at 8 in the evening, and there are people who will just get on call with me. We can work through it. But there's someone like, "Oh, I have my evening time." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Is that obsession?" Don't think
No.
so. How do you check?
How do we check? That's why it was very hard. Um, it finally came down to like our first team member and another person who had applied, and it was really hard for us to choose, because we want to make sure like we are getting the right person to join our team, and we just asked like, can you send us some projects you have done in your free time? And well, who we hired, he sent us this like, I don't even know how many pages. Like, he had made stuff in his free time. Like, he has built hardware in his garage. He has built crazy hardware in his garage. And like, okay, so this he doesn't really have a free time. He When he gets bored, he just go build stuff. And we're like, okay, that's who we need, because we want somebody to enjoy building stuff, and his free time he's actually going to go build stuff. And yeah, when we ask him what's your like work life balance, he was like, as long as I can do my laundry, he's happy. And I'm like, oh yeah, you sound like us, so you're hired.
And what do you think generally when I look at the work ethics? If you look at Europe, for example, compared to the US, so many like England, they're trying to implement a 4-day week. They're trying to work less hours, and inside I'm always thinking like, to do what? Like when you have free time, you can just do so much cool stuff. I mean, work-wise, you can bring so much value and create something into this world which didn't exist before. What do you think about, like, when you look at Europe taking such a dramatic shift towards maybe like AI will take care of a lot of stuff, and we need to figure out how to enjoy life, and compare it to like the high grid resilience, work power mode that you see in the
Mhm.
startup world in the US.
In terms of wanting to work less hours, is that
Yeah, in terms of
what you're?
how that adds to living a good life, productive life.
You met Brandon. He has the same mindset. Like he wants to build crazy stuff, build crazy problems. For me, if you hire the right team and they have the right mindset, and as long as everybody's enjoying, everybody's having fun, it's okay. Like, for an example, we are not forcing anybody. Like at Spaceium, I'm not asking. We are not forcing them to stay up until 11 p.m. building stuff. And like, the team wants to stay up until 11 p.m. because that's how obsessed they are with what they're building. Because as the founders, we want to make sure everybody's happy. And we want to build something that's going to change the world, that's going to really have a big impact on the world. And and our team, they know whatever they build is going to help create that impact. And so it's such an amazing feeling to work on it, right? So I guess that's how it is, but I don't know if I answered your question because
No, you did. I think in the end, when you're working on something that you love, that you're passionate about, then it stops being work. When you think about like work-life balance,
Mhm,
it's like work is life when you're doing what you love.
mhm.
And also wanted to ask you, who are your role models? Who do you look up to?
It's a good question. I'm not sure actually. I don't know. I should have one, right?
Well, there's nothing you should. Maybe a founder or astronaut whose qualities you admire.
I always admire people who do crazy stuff. It could be anybody. If I meet somebody and they're so happy with what they're working on, and they want to change the world, and they want to create an impact in the world. And so I'm always intrigued by people like that, and who doesn't want to give up. So I don't have any specific names, but that's what usually intrigues me.
Well, Brandon is cool, right? We can agree on
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brand is amazing.
Okay. Okay. Another one. When I talk to founders, especially in the US, especially those who've been through YC, they all talk about you have to aim for a billion plus. So there is a lot of emphasis on maybe the scale, but also the capital, the money aspect of it. What role does money play in your life?
In terms of, sorry, I didn't
In
understand
terms
the
of,
question.
is it something that like is attached to one of your goals? Like, I want to have $1 billion exit. I want to buy yachts, a mansion, and
Oh,
a space mansion next to my refueling station.
yeah, that's really actually somebody else recently asked me this kind of same question. I don't know. I have never really thought about, oh, what am I going to do after an exit? Like, what I'm going to use that money for? Because all I care about is Spaceium being successful, and I have never really thought about, oh, if Spaceium successful, I'm going to buy a mansion or whatever. Uh, yeah, it just I never really thought about it.
Is it a scary thought? The exit, like spending so much time and energy working towards something, building something into something successful. and then not losing it, but when you exit, you you kind of you stand there with an emptiness that you have to fill with something else. And usually, like there is so many transformations that happen in this space. When you think about an exit, does it excite you? Does it fear you?
We are definitely looking to go IPO one day. So, but if I think about getting acquired, yes, it makes me sad and scared for the company, because I'm scared that it might not, the vision of the company might not be the same. But yeah, we are working, like one day we want to go IPO, but it's a long time from now. So right now we are focused on building what our customers want, building the first demonstrations, and getting the fuel stations up there.
Is there a lot of pressure to sell when there is an acquisition offer, a good one on the table from maybe investors? Because at the end, it should be up to you, right? Whether you want to sell or not, and especially if it's a business that brings profits. You just take dividends, live a good life, work until you're 70, 80, until, well, as long as you keep enjoying it. Or is there some sort of pressure into like, oh, you have to go through an acquisition within like 5, 10 years when you hit certain marks?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. And the investors that we have on our team right now, they're amazing, and I hope to have more amazing investors. So, but I never really thought about like, oh, what would happen if we get an offer.
And what makes an investor amazing as compared to, because you hear different stories, and sometimes investors can they almost break the company if they try to force a direction that they think is the right one, and kind of move the founder away from the decision making chair. What would you say makes an investor a good investor?
They had to be a partner.
And what's that like?
And I'm just going to give an example about our lead investor from Initialized Capital, Andrew Sether. He's our lead investor. He's amazing. He's so supportive. He never pressure you into doing anything, and it's always advice and giving like his opinion and asking about our opinion about something. So, and all the other investors as well. I just gave an example of our lead investor, but all the other investors as well. So it's more like being a partner and helping through issues, and not trying to change the direction if it's bad for the company. So
And what are you currently most excited about in the future of spacing?
some news that we have coming up. I'm so excited about it, but I'm so sad I can't talk about it.
When is the release date for the
But
news?
in the next couple of months, we'll have multiple news coming up. But you'll know.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do a follow up episode.
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
With so many people trying to become founders, especially now with AI, and how much easier it is now to start a company, because you can learn to use AI to do a lot of the work that used to be done by two, three, four people, which would increase the expenses and the barrier to entry. There are a lot of people who read all of those posts on LinkedIn. It's like how everything's easy, it's successful. You just raise A, you raise your Series D, 100 million, 200 million. It's like, oh, it's the life of a superstar. What advice would you give them coming into the founder world?
Any advice is founder world, as founders, like I said earlier as well, things are going to get really hard. So finding the right co-founder, right, having the right mindset, and building something customers want, building something people want, like what YC says all the time, make something people want. And so if you have those, I'm not going to say it's going to get easy, but it's going to be easier than not having a good co-founder, or even if you're a solo founder, having that resilient to do whatever it takes to build your company. Listen to your users, listen to your customers. That's one of the main important things. It feels like such a common knowledge, such an like, and we just think anybody would talk to their customers, right? But it seems like not a lot of people do that. A lot of people just go build the product, and then you spend months, years building a product without talking to customers or without using talking to users. And when they try to sell it, they don't like a certain feature, or they want something totally different, or their pain point is totally different, and then you have to spend another 2 years iterating. So that's why it's so important to talk to your customers through each iteration process. So you iterate based on the market feedback. And at the end of the day, when you have a product, your customers are also on board and they know what you have been working on. That's one of the biggest advice. Just talk to your customers.
A lot of people are scared to release early. They want their product to be perfect before the customers see it or even hear about
Mhm.
it. Yeah, I can see a lot of people make that mistake when they spend too much time. I made the same mistake 12 years ago when I was building my first company. I spent too long building an MVP, and I could have done a lot more iterations back then. And how do people know whether what they're the value that they're trying to bring, the problem they're trying to solve, is something that will work? Because I see a lot of people just trying to hit the same wall over and over again, month after month. Like, I just need to change something to make it work. When is the right time to just say, okay, I messed up. This is not gonna find a product market fit. I should pivot. Should try something else.
If you don't have users, if for an example, let's say no one wants fuel, like we don't have any customers who wants fuel, like then we would know, okay, we have to pivot. That doesn't mean like your company dies. You just build something what the market needs, because there's whatever your customers are, there's always a pain point, right? For our customers, the pain point is not being able to move around in space for long. They can't carry payload. So the our customers are really restricted. Like spacecraft are right now really restricted. So that's what we are solving. So you have to always try to remove one of their pain points, because everybody have a pain point. And if you try to remove that, then they will buy your product. So if you're spending years working on something and there's no user, that means you have to, I guess, might be it will be a good time to pivot, right? And build something customers want. And my advice is to talk to customers first. That's what we did at Spaceium. Even before we had a product, we cold email a lot of people, and obviously a lot of people didn't reply. People who replied, they're like one of our good friends now.
How easy
And
was it for you to start cold emailing?
oh, it was hard. Like it was just an idea. I just had an idea. Like both of us, we had an idea. So I cold emailed my co-founder. We both cold email people, and some people got back, some didn't get back. And when, but now, and as we progressed, whenever we cold emailed somebody, they would get back to you, because now you have a product to show, and at least they would reply back to see what we are talking about. So someone's always going to believe in you. In the beginning, someone will believe in you, so you can get that advice and iterate and then keep trying.
And did you ever face a situation where you as a founder, you as a CEO, for example, with cold emailing, you might get a fear of rejection, and you're like, I'm not sure, I'll postpone, I'll just hire somebody who's going to be really good at cold email. But at the same time, as a good CEO, you have to just get shit done, just build the shit, like as
Yep.
one of your posters. Do you ever get one of those moments where you were like, oh, I'm scared, I don't know? Wait. I'm just gonna do it. You just sit down, just power through.
I'm not really scared of rejection because if I get rejected, that means I'm learning something. And I never wanted to hire anybody to cold email because I wanted to know what I'm gonna learn by cold email, or what depends on their responses, because it was a learning curve for me as well to talk to like to learn about the space industry. And so like that's why I never wanted to hire anybody to do it for me, because then I would not know what the market needs, what the space industry is like.
Okay, so advice for anyone listening to this: even the negative answers that you receive is still important because that's where you learn. I'm just telling it to myself to reiterate. I'm like, oh, that's such a good way to be looking at this. Are there any tips and tricks to being a good CEO?
Have your teams back. Like I have my teams back. Like I'll do anything for them, and I make sure they're happy, and they have what they want, because they're your family. Like your team becomes your family, and if you don't take care of them, it's really unlikely your team will stay with you for long term. And sometimes one of the very early team members that join you, you want them to stay for a long period of time with you, because they're the very first people that helped you take your company off the ground. And it's really important you take care of your team. Your team is your family.
And how do CEOs take care of their team members? Do they offer equity? Do they do a lot of one-on-ones to get to know them, as Gary Vaynerchuk does? Or do they just create so much challenge for them as Elon Musk to make sure that they perform, the best work of their life, even though it
It
squeezes them?
it can range from, it can be different things. Like there's no right or wrong way to take care of them. It could be with one-on-one meetings, or you go over technical aspects with them, you help them, or it could be just buying them food. It could be just as simple as that. It doesn't always have to be business when you take care of your team members. Like it doesn't always have to be equity or business related. Just buying them a meal, or just sending them like every week, have a send them food. Once a week they get food. And it could be just as simple, like very simple, just be human, just have a connection. Because if you're only focusing on business things, like only having technical meetings and only doing design reviews, you really don't have a connection with your team. And just go for a walk with your team, it's just so easy. Like we walk every day, and like yesterday we walked for like 45 minutes. It got cold, so we came back, but it was just, and then we just talk about random stuff. It's just such a good mind reset, because the whole day we have been working, right? And then we'll go for a walk, and then we would take our dogs and just be human. It's because sometimes I feel like a lot of people forget to be human and have that human connection. That's And it's just such a, you have to, if you want if you want to take care of somebody, you need to know who they are as people, who and just have a just think just talking to them might also sometimes be like just taking care, right?
Yeah.
Because then they know, okay, I'm working in a place that I can talk to the founders. Founders are not disconnected from the team. Like I can talk to the founders, and founders are not scary. Founders are like family. Like we are all building the same thing. We are all building towards the same goal. And at the same time, I mean, those are just like the human stuff, human nature. And the rest could be just having one-on-one meetings to better understand. what they're working on. We have daily catch ups, like every day at 9 a.m., we do a catch up.
For the whole team.
Yeah, we are a small team, so it's easy. But we plan to do that. Me and my co founder, we want to be engaged at we want to be like not micromanage, oh, that's not what I mean, but we want to be working with our team. Like we plan to run Spaceium as a startup as long as possible, because that means we can actually we get to engage with the whole team. And yeah, every day 9 a.m. we do a daily catch up and go over what we worked on, what they worked on, and we have technical reviews, and we go for walks. Makes them really happy.
Almost seems like a dream job for anyone who wants to make a real difference and add to the space era. That I'm pretty sure we're moving towards very quickly, with a number of startups aiming for space, with the launch costs coming down, with us being able to now make sure that whatever goes up in space lands safely as well, so we don't lose it.
Yeah. Because the job is hard. Like what we are doing at Spaceium is hard. It takes like really, you have to concentrate so well, and you have to build something that's going to work, and it's really hard. So I want to make sure they they're well taken care of mentally, in terms of business wise, and it's a very happy place for them to work, and they want to look forward to working every day for long hours, if just doing so normal human things.
Well, fantastic. I want to thank you so much for coming to the podcast and sharing with me and our listeners about your story. I want to wish you all the best in growing your team and releasing the news that we're going to
Yeah.
listen to in the future. And
Mhm.
yeah, wishing you all of the strength, energy, and success to go through all of the challenges that this journey will
So much.
bring.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you, and thanks for having me.